We are very, very excited to have your family and friends and all the guests with us today for this really exciting event. And I want to start by introducing our speaker, our guest speaker for today, Dr. Mona Hanna-Attisha, who was selected by the class of 2019 to make our keynote address. Dr. Hanna-Attisha is founder and director of the Michigan State University and Hurley Children's Hospital Pediatric Public Health Initiative, an innovative and model public health program in Flint, Michigan. A pediatrician, scientist, and activist, Mona has testified twice before the United States Congress, been awarded the Freedom of Expression Courage Award by PEN America, and named one of Time Magazine's 100 most influential people in the world for her role in uncovering the Flint water crisis and leading recovery efforts. She has appeared on CNN, MSNBC, BBC, and countless other media outlets, championing the cause of children in Flint and beyond. She is founding director of the Flint Child Health and Development Fund. Dr. Hanna-Attisha received her bachelor's and master's of public health degrees from University of Michigan and her medical degree from Michigan State University College of Human Medicine. She completed her residency at Children's Hospital of Michigan in Detroit, where she was chief resident. She is currently associate professor of pediatrics and human development at Michigan State University and Children's Hospital of Michigan, director of a unique Pediatric Public Health Fellowship, and the C.S. Mott Endowed Professor of Public Health at Michigan State. She has been recognized in so many ways, but I noted from her CV, Greater Flint African American Sports Hall of Fame inductee, MIT Media Lab Inaugural Disobedience Award, and the Most Powerful Moms of 2017 by Working Moms magazine. Her new best-selling book, What the Eyes Don't See, a story of crisis, resistance, and hope in an American city, is riveting, beautifully rendered account of a shameful disaster that became a tale of activism and hope, the story of a city on the ropes that came together to fight for justice, self-determination, and the right to build a better world for their and all of our children. It really is an honor for me to introduce Mona to speak to us today.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, congratulations. It is absolutely awesome to be here with all of you. Congratulations, family and friends and faculty. And thank you for letting me share this amazing, amazing opportunity and occasion with all of you. I think I'm also supposed to say like hashtag WashU19, right? Or hashtag WashMed, hashtag you are all awesome. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So graduates, all of you, are the next to depart from this center of knowledge and enter today's world of medicine. We have been waiting for you. We need all of you. The next part of your life will be like no other. Residency for most of you. Long hours, more knowledge than you thought your brain could hold, physical, mental, and sometimes emotional exhaustion, growth in your competence and your confidence that will transform you from a trainee to an independent practitioner. But right now, today, you're like in this eye of a hurricane, and you've come through the storm and you've weathered some rough spots, and you know there is a whirlwind of wonderful change coming, but not quite yet. Today, you can take a breath and enjoy a feeling of incredible, incredible accomplishment. You have endured all the labs, the endless nights, the exams, step 1, step 2, the match, all of it. You have absolutely endured. But to paraphrase William Faulkner, it is not enough to endure. We must prevail. And to prevail, you need to think about what kind of doctor you're going to be. And I don't mean like what kind of specialty or where you're going to practice. I mean, how are you going to serve as a doctor, as a leader in your community? When you graduate in a matter of minutes and you get that long white coat and you get the MD after your name, what are you going to do with that? Will it just be a job? Clock in, clock out, shift work, pay the bills? Or will you wake up every day not just to go to work, not just to practice medicine, but to be part of something bigger? And I am here today to challenge all of you to be part of something bigger. I know the kind of doctor that I strive to be, and I know the kind of doctors that we need. Doctors who never quit and never waver. Doctors who do the hard things because we care. The unpopular things because we care. The quixotic things because we care. Because we care not just about our patients, but we care about what is right. And I am standing here in front of you, and I am so relieved when I see all of your faces. Because we need you in the dark places and in the quiet places. We need you where no one is listening and where others refuse to see. Being a doctor means being a protector of health. Sometimes that means holding the hand of a person who feels like their whole life is slipping away. And then sometimes that means being on guard for a city that is being poisoned. You have chosen to put yourselves on the front lines of some of the most important battlegrounds today. Whether you know it or not, by taking up the profession of medicine and health, you have put yourselves on overwatch. You are now the sentinels, the guardians, the avengers. Okay, maybe not the avengers, but almost as awesome. Your responsibility is as crucial and as enormous. It is far-reaching, and it is as close to home as you can possibly get. This is the life that you have chosen. This is the life that we have all chosen. I chose to be a pediatrician. Where's all my pediatrician peeps? Give me some noise. Yay, another thought here too. Woohoo! You guys can change later if you want to go into pediatrics, I recommend. It's all good. Almost all of my patient work as a pediatrician was one-on-one. Small hands in mine, little ears in front of me, tiny noses to poke into. But sometimes the work that you choose has other plans for you. And my life took a turn that I wasn't expecting. Instead of one-on-one, I found myself one on thousands and facing the dire needs of so many. But what I learned in medical school and what I learned from all those hands and noses and fingers made me able to take on something bigger. But it all started with a choice. What will you choose? What kind of doctor will you be? My story, the Flint, Michigan story, is about the unthinkable tragedy of people and their children poisoned by the most basic thing, by our water. It is a story of what happens when the people charged with keeping us safe and healthy care more about money and power than they do about us or our children. It was preventable, but no one stopped it. It was avoidable, but it happened. It was all around me, and the signs were all around me, and I could not and did not see it until I studied it, until I knew it. Making others see it was a whole other thing. I ran up against people and entire systems built not to see, even when they did know. It was a blindness, an indifference, a will with water meters and test tubes, making sure that our air and our water was safe. And I was wrong. I was so wrong. I learned something else too. I learned that I was also responsible for my patients and their health. Me, Dr. Mona, taking care of little sick kids, directing a residency program, mom, wife, taking my kids to Girl Scouts and soccer practice. It was me. No one else was coming. And that no matter how hard and how scary it seemed, I couldn't close my eyes. My role quickly morphed from clinician educator to detective scientist to patient advocate. And it was dramatic, kind of fast-paced, heart-pounding, around-the-clock work fueled by coffee, curiosity, and compassion and commitment for our children that allowed us to conduct the research that proved that our children, our patients, were in harm's way. And I want to pause and reiterate how backwards this all was. My research never should have been necessary. Of course, our crisis in Flint never should have started, but it should have stopped when that first mom held a jug of brown water. It never should have gotten to the point where the blood of our children were being used as detectors of environmental contamination. And even as I offered the scientific proof, the science, the facts, the data, the research, I was met with denials and attacks. And I was scared. I doubted myself. I had a knot in my stomach that wouldn't go away. I had just gotten a Fitbit, so I knew my heart rate, it was like close to 200. I began to diagnose myself with all kinds of different pathologies and didn't go to the doctor, obviously. And for a quick minute, I regretted using my voice. And I thought to myself, maybe I should have minded my own business, closed my eyes, stayed doing my job as a busy pediatrician. But that thought was quickly replaced with the realization that this had nothing to do with me and everything to do with my patients. Patients that I have literally taken an oath to protect. You'll soon take that oath. And it was also a recognition that every number in my research was not just a number. It was a child. It was about Tyler, who sprained his ankle, and Sasha, who always asks to use my stethoscope to listen to her heart, and Jalen, who had pink eye, and Jasmine, who had her 4-year checkup, wanted to be 5 years old when she grew up. All the Flint kids I knew and saw, all the kids I'd ever known and seen were jumping out of my spreadsheets, pushing me forward, lifting me up, giving me the courage to speak up against a system that wanted me to stay quiet. And it took a while, but finally, our persistence, our teamwork, and our science helped expose this man-made crisis. And within weeks, we were back on treated water, and since then, we have been building and sharing our model public health recovery. And as much as my story is a story of a crime committed with absolute indifference against some of the most vulnerable people in our country, it is also a story of resistance and hope. It is a story of medicine walking outside of the comfort zone of our hospitals, our clinics, our classrooms, our labs, and into the community, working hand in hand to challenge the status quo. And it is a testament to the idea that individuals working together from many different walks of life, many different disciplines, can absolutely make a difference. But my story is really about all of us, and it's about all of you. And once again, it's about what kind of doctor you choose to be. It's about how each of us has the power to open our eyes and open each other's eyes. Doctors are all blessed with a gift, each and every single one of you. A gift that is fleeting, and you must pay attention to it in the moment because it is only given once. Fresh eyes. Fresh eyes. You only get to see it for the first time once. Don't miss it. Don't waste it. In those first moments, you will see and notice things that will vanish the more times you see it. The shocking turns into the usual, and the magical withers into the mundane, the known, the accepted. Like the first time you saw a baby born, and I heard we have an 11-day-old baby right here. Congratulations to the new baby. Hi, baby. Okay. But that's magic. That's magical. Or the first time a child comes to the ED coding from a gunshot injury. Or the first time you add measles to your differential for a kid with a fever and a rash. Or the first time a diabetic presents with DKA because they couldn't afford their insulin anymore. Or the first time you cradle an opioid-addicted baby to sleep. But in those first clean, clear moments, you get to see things through only your eyes and filter them through the layers of your perception and your training before anyone else tries to tell you what you're seeing. Before the unthinkable has not only become the thinkable, but the expected. It's become the norm. As you spend the upcoming years on the front lines of medicine and health, do not forget to feel, and do not forget to every day ground yourself. Always remember, our science, our medicine, our work is about people. It's all about people. And it's about all people. The medical school you are graduating from is one of the best in the country. You know that. You are among the elite. This gives you the opportunity to use your privilege in service to others. Use what you've learned, what you know, and what you've seen. Use the technology and the tools of medicine and health to make lives better. For people. You are hurtling toward your future at what can feel like light speed. Don't go so fast that you miss all the chances that will appear before you to make lives better. Those chances will absolutely come to you, I promise. But if you are not paying attention with your fresh eyes, you can miss them. Focus on the people in front of you, but don't forget to take a step back and look at the wider view, the bigger picture. One person with measles is bad. Hundreds with measles is a public health epidemic. One child with lead in their blood is terrible. Thousands is a preventable tragedy. One child shot in what should be the placental safety of their schools is sad. But when thousands are shot and die, it's a national medical emergency. Remember, you must take a moment. You have to be able to light up the darkness of tunnel vision to truly see. Your clarity of vision shows the world as it should be, not the imperfect place that it is. And instead of turning this innocence into nonchalance, you must turn it into awareness. There's a poem that I give my pediatric residents that sums this up. It's called A Worker's Speech to a Doctor. It was written actually in 1938. It says, "When we're sick, we hear, you are the one who will heal us. When we come to you, our rags are torn off and you tap around our naked bodies. As to the cause of our sickness, a glance at our rags would tell you more. It is the same cause that wears out our bodies and our clothes." The role of our environment, our situations, and our health is not new. In medicine, we often call this the social determinants of health. It's one of the reasons I went into medicine, to not only treat infections, but also to treat the upstream inequalities and injustices, to treat what is in front of me, but also what our trained clinician eyes often don't see or don't want to see. The world needs you to see beyond the obvious, because it is these often underlying and invisible ailments that fill our hospital beds and deteriorate our nation's health. And I challenge you to hold on to those fresh eyes. And then don't keep it to yourself. I urge you to be the dissenting voice when something has to be done. I urge you to raise your hands when everyone else is sitting on theirs. I urge you because I believe in you. I believe in each of you. And one lesson that you must take from my story is that your medical degree grants you stature in your community. It gives you gravitas. It makes you a respected expert in an era where many professions are not held in high regard. My MD was a megaphone for the kids in Flint, and I used it, and I was loud, and I was stubborn, and I was persistent, and it was finally the voice of medicine that ultimately changed the trajectory of an entire city. From this day on, you are all entrusted to be the voice of health. We are all depending on all of you. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Of all the forms of inequality, injustice in health is the most shocking and the most inhumane. Our patients cannot afford to have the guardians of their health shut their eyes, look away, and stay silent to injustices that threaten their health." And the time can't be more important than today, because you just have to pick your injustice. It's not hard to find. Turn on the news. The credibility of science is under attack, from vaccines to climate change. Safeguards for our most vulnerable are threatened. Regulations and public health agencies like the EPA are being dismantled. Healthcare access for millions are out of reach and may disappear. Rising drug prices, an assault today on women's health and reproductive health. Gun violence is epidemic. Slavery has morphed into mass incarceration. Children in cages and separated from their parents at the border. And like a malignancy, hate and racism and nationalism are spreading all over the world, especially against our most vulnerable patients. And why am I talking about all these things? Because this impacts the health of your patients, of your communities. Remember, this is your lane. This is what it's all about. This is why we wake up in the morning. This is why we went to school forever. It's our patients that we are privileged to serve. And this is the kind of doctor that we choose to be. I want to end by giving you one last assignment. Durrell, Dean Perlmutter, is okay if I give them, faculty okay if I give them one last assignment? Okay, they seem okay with that. All right, guys, close your eyes. I want you to imagine that it's decades from now, and you're getting a Lifetime Achievement Award. They go through your body of work and highlight the things you did that earned you this prestigious award. How did you write that story? What did you accomplish? Your body of work will be made of the human quilt of the people you cared for, who you advocated for. Blood and bone will become the living resume of the life you will lead. Our work is in the ears and nose and throats and tummies of our patients. Our work is in helping the young grow strong and helping the old stay strong. How will you build a legacy worth celebrating? You, each of you, have chosen medicine as your path, as your life's work. But now you must make another choice. You must decide, what kind of doctor am I going to be? Congratulations and thank you.